In this video, we're going to walk through the process for connecting each of these: Drive, Sheets, Docs, Slides, Gmail, Calendar. This is especially important for Drive because it doesn't matter how you're hosting N8N. You might be hosting it on Railway or Hostinger or on your local computer. You may even have it on N8N Cloud. It doesn't matter where you are hosting N8N. You will have to follow this process that we're going to go through today, at least for Google Drive. So let's get started. In order to connect N8N to your Google Drive, and in the case that you're hosting it somewhere other than N8N Cloud, you need to follow this process and you need to have an account at console.cloud.google.com. So you'll just type in console.cloud.google.com and it will bring you to this screen. If you don't already have a Google Console Cloud account, then you'll have to sign up with one and you'll have to enter in billing information. It's required. The good news is that you won't be charged on that credit card unless if you approve the purchases after you sign up. I've never hit past the free tier. I've never had to pay for any of the services that we're going to go through today. The first step in this process is going to be to create a project, and you'll be able to access your projects up here in the top left corner. So click on this and you'll see all of the projects that you have access to inside of your account. Now for this video, we're going to create a new project and go through the whole process so that we don't miss any steps. So you do that by coming up here to the top right corner of this pop-up box and you hit New Project. And you can name it anything that you want. It's fairly arbitrary. Just make sure that it's something, it's a naming convention that will help you stay organized. But we'll do N8N YouTube demo for now, and then we'll just leave it with no organization, and then we'll hit create. Over here on the right, you'll see that the project is being created. It's now successfully been created. So once you get that green check mark, you'll be able to come up here again in this top left corner, and you will see your project now available in the project dropdown. So you'll click on this, and now we are in that N8N YouTube demo project. So we can start to activate some of the APIs that we want to access inside of Google. So the way that you do that is over here in the hamburger menu. Everything that we're going to be touching on today, everything that you need to do is going to be found under the API and Services tab. So you can come here if you get lost at all and just come back to the APIs and Services tab. So we'll click on this. And you'll see over here on the left-hand side that there are a few options that we have here in the APIs and services. We're going to go here to the enabled APIs and services first. That's the default screen that opens. And then you come up here in the search bar and you're going to search for the services that you want to activate. So in this case, we want to activate Drive, Sheets, Docs, Slides, Gmail, and Calendar all today. So we'll start out, we'll do this in alphabetical order. We'll do Calendar first. We'll click that. It'll open up here a screen that we need to go to and click Enable. So hit that, and as soon as this loads, it will be enabled, and it'll take us back to the screen where we can search for the next API that we want to enable. And the next one we'll do, again, if we're going in alphabetical order, is Google Docs. We'll click on this, same thing, Enable, wait for it to load. Now it's been enabled. We'll do our next one, which is Drive. And again, this is the most important one because it doesn't matter where you're hosting N8N in this. For Google Drive, you have to follow this process. So Google Drive is the next one. We'll enable. Gmail, enable. Google Sheets, enable. And then again, for this purpose, we'll do Slides as well. Google Slides API, enable. Now all of those APIs are enabled and will be accessible through this project, through the credentials that we're now going to make. And these credentials will be what allow N8N to access our Google Sheets, our Slides, our Drive, our Docs, all the apps that we want to use within Google. So in order to give N8N access, we have to create an OAuth consent screen. So we'll click on that. And it will change the menu. You'll see that there aren't any, when you create a new project, there won't be any here. So we'll click Get Started. And then the same as when we created the project, this is fairly arbitrary. Just give it a naming convention that allows you to keep track of which OAuth consent is which. So we'll do N8N YouTube demo, and then user support email. We'll just use the one that is tied to the account over here. We'll hit next. Audience, this is an important one. We'll want to make sure that we hit, well, for making it as simple as possible, do external, and then next. Contact information, and we'll just do the same email. Next, and agree to the services. Continue, create. And now we're going to create OAuth client right here. After that completes, create OAuth client. Application type here, it's going to be web application, so select web application. Same thing again here with naming. It's fairly arbitrary. Just make sure that you can follow the naming convention. We'll just do a YouTube demo again for simplicity, keep them all the same. And then here is where we need to get some information from N8N under this authorized redirect URIs section of this form. So we'll go back to N8N, and if you click on Drive, and you do create new credential, it's going to have this OAuth redirect URL right here. And this is what we're going to copy and paste over into the Cloud Console. So you click this, come back, and you'll add an add URI, right? You'll paste that URL that you got from N8N here, and then you'll hit create. And this little pop-up gives you half the information that you'll need to connect. We'll need another little piece, so for now we'll just hit OK. And now we'll actually click into this OAuth client, and now we have all the information that we'll need to connect these. So we'll do our client ID, which N8N asks for right here. And then we'll do our client secret, which you can just click on this stacked sheet icon, which will copy the client secret to your clipboard. And then you come here to client secret and paste it in, and then you can hit save. Once you hit save, you are going to be required to sign in with Google. So we will complete this step, select the email for the account that is connected to the drive that you're interested in accessing that holds all your sheets, the docs, all the things that you want to access in N8N. Make sure it matches this email address. So click on this one, and if you and you'll get this error, and there's a step that we need to go back and complete in order to avoid this error. So we'll go back into the Cloud Console, and we'll go to Audience. And you'll notice here there are two different ways of doing this. We can publish the app, which will essentially make it publicly available, or you can add test users, which will basically give you the control to say exactly who you want to be able to access this app, or you can just hit publish app. Either way, it will allow you to access the app. So we'll just do publish app, confirm, and now it is out of testing and into production. So if we go back, we'll exit out of this, we'll go back and we'll start the process again. We'll do sign in with Google, select the email, and now you'll see this page, which you have the little attention icon here because Google hasn't verified the app. That's fine. We're the creator of the app. We know that it's safe. And so in order to give access, we'll click on advanced, and then you'll click on this little link at the bottom. Once you click on that, you'll see a regular OAuth screen. You'll do select all, and then you'll come down here to continue, and then you'll see that the connection is successful. And we'll be able to verify that by going back in N8N, and now you'll see that the account is indeed connected. And so from here, we can now select the documents, the files that we have inside of our Google Drive, and we can start to build the automations that we want to build with them. So from here, again, this is really important with Drive. This whole process is very, very important with Drive because you'll have to follow this no matter where you are hosting. Like I mentioned, Sheets or Docs or Slides, Gmail, Calendar will be a little bit more straightforward when you are hosting it on N8N Cloud. But if you're doing any kind of self-hosting, you're going to have to follow the same process for each of these. If you do happen to be hosting on N8N Cloud, then you don't need to continue with the rest of the video. But if you do want to see how it's done, it is just fairly rinse and repeat, but we'll go through the rest of it right now. So we'll double click on Sheets, and each of these is going to be different, essentially a different credential that we have to set up. So we'll go through the process again. So in order to do that, we'll come back to APIs and services, OAuth consent screen, and then we'll go to clients and YouTube demo, and then we'll have the client ID and we'll have the client secret. So from here, we're just going to copy these, copy this, client ID, client secret, paste it here, save. It's been successfully saved. So now we do the same process, sign in with Google. Select the email, advanced, here, select all, continue. Now it says that it's been successful, come and verify, and it has been successfully connected. And we'll show an example. So we'll go to drive.google.com. We'll create a new sheet and we will populate it here. We'll do N8N demo sheet. And then since this has been created, we will come back to N8N and it will load a list. There is the N8N demo sheet that we just created, so we can connect that. We can now connect to that successfully. So that's the example of Sheets. Docs is going to be the same thing. Create new credential. We'll go get the client ID, paste it. We will get the client secret, paste it, save, sign in with Google, advanced, click, and we'll allow it to access our docs. Continue. Successfully created. Back here, we have N8N demo right here. That will be accessible. So exit out of this, and in this case, you do the doc ID or the URL. So we can just open this, and the ID is right here. We'll copy that, paste it here, and then we'll have access to that doc. Next is slides. Create new credential. Same thing. Go get the client ID, and we'll do save. Sign in with Google. Select the email, advanced, go to production, continue, connection successful, verified, account connected, and then there's still the red because we didn't do a presentation ID, but we don't need to go through that. Gmail, we'll create a new credential, same thing, client ID, and the client secret, save, sign in with Google, advanced, select all, continue, connection successful, and then calendar, ultimately calendar, last but not least calendar. Come back here, client ID, save, sign in with Google, advanced, select all, connection successful. And we will see that the account is indeed connected. So we still have these little red attention signs. That's because we didn't enter the other details that it requires, the message ID in this case, but it is successfully connected. So that's how you connect each one of these services, especially if you're hosting it on your own. But again, if you are hosting it on the cloud, and if you're hosting it on your own, it doesn't matter where you're hosting it. You will have to follow this process for Google Drive if you want to access Google Drive. So that's it. That's the whole process, beginning to end. You shouldn't run into any problems. You should then be able to just access all of the documents that you have in your Google Drive from N8N if you follow this process exactly.